Hello, Mouse Champions. This is your proud principal coming to you with information for our PLC on today. We are going to talk about our campus needs assessment. So with our campus needs assessment, it's basically looking at what is it that we need to do to improve and become a better Moss Elementary. So today we're going to go through, learn about what is a campus needs assessment. So you're going to hear me say CNA. And it will lead us to our campus improvement plan. So here we have our mission, vision, and our core values. Today we're going to talk about specifically our vision. What is it that we say we are going to exactly do or we want to see in the future? What are we striving to be? So we said that we're going to cultivate an academic environment where students are challenged daily through rigorous assignments and activities to help them become self-reliant problem solvers who think critically. Okay, so with our vision then leads to our needs assessments. Our needs assessment then goes to our goals, and having those goals leads to strategies, and then from our strategies, implementation, and then from our strategies, we have success. It's simple, right? Yeah, but it actually must be a plan that must be put in place. So as we've learned this year, nothing is routine. Every school procedure has been challenged, especially since COVID 2019. We have been able to adjust and rise to the challenge, but we've had to look at some things differently on how we can improve and still be safe in that manner. So, in the mindset of difficulty lies opportunity. And so that comes from the quote of Albert Einstein. And so we know that in the midst of all of this, it really lies an opportunity for us to be improved. So what is a needs assessment? A needs assessment is a process to collect, examine, and summarize a breadth of information about the current status of the district or school, and then identify strengths, problems, and root causes. It is a process to layer data with school context, giving stakeholders opportunities to regularly analyze, interpret, and communicate the school's achievement and progress with great depth of understanding. The pre-work necessary for building an improvement plan to respond to the academic needs of students and provide opportunities for them to meet challenging state standards, and it's all three of those definitions. So when we look at a needs assessment, it is the whole picture of our campus. So when we look at it, you're looking at many different factors: low achievement, student needs, identified needs, our ESL, our GT, our SPED population, our at-risk, our English language learners. All of those are key factors in assessing our campus because we know we're here for the kids. So when we look at our strengths, we look at and collect data. We're going to organize it and analyze and interpret the data because we're going to look at our assets and look at our strengths. Okay, who are we? But then we also are going to look at what are some problems and some root causes. We're going to connect them to implementation and determine priorities. So where do we want to be? So going from where we are to now where we need to be. So with it, we always have to have a crystal clear vision. Exactly how are we going to get to our blue ribbon school? And y'all know I've been saying that since I became principal, that it is time for Moss to be a blue ribbon school. But it does take all of us, and it takes everyone to have a positive mindset as well as a clear vision. So what is important in a needs assessment? And a needs assessment is an analysis of gap that exists between a school's current state and the desired state. It includes strengths, measures of growth, factors that can attribute to the gap, priority needs, perspectives of a variety of stakeholders. So one of the key factors that we must remember when we're looking at and coming together for our campus needs assessment is we cannot grow unless we actually are reflective. And so if we feel that we're doing everything well, then we would be that tier one, that school that everyone wants to be at. And so we do understand that there are some gaps that we do have, but we need to be able to address them, but be strategic with our planning. So the process of the power of a CNA is a needs assessment is not just a piece of paper with charts and graphs. So we're not just going to look at it and say, okay, well, it's our high students or our low students. And it's not just about the state assessment scores. So this year we do have to look at many factors within our data because we do not have a state assessment score from last year. So we will have to look at the previous year, which is 1920, 1819 school year. So we're going to have to look at that, but we know that's not just the be and all of data. So in this process, it is not, a CNA is not fast food. It's not, this process is going to take a while. It is a lot of us being able to analyze data that we're not always used to from a global aspect, from a grade level aspect, to a virtual, horizontal, linear, longitudinal, all of those data we're going to have to look at. So it's not something that is real quick and simple. Conducting a strong CNA snapshot takes time. The CNA process is never complete. So as we go through this, and we're going to be able to really have some time, we're going to see how we need to develop our CNA, look at our data, and be able to really understand who we are and where we need to be. So again, students deserve schools that don't cut corners. And so a lot of times we try to put a band-aid over certain things or say it's a quick fix, but we really need to make sure what we're going to commit to doing, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it well so that our students are successful. Lighten the load, focus the plan. So CNA data analysis. We're going to take time to explore our data, to evaluate and eliminate. So we're going to explore getting all of our data, looking at it, going from different lenses, evaluate the data. What does it actually say? And eliminate. What is it that we're doing that we don't need to do because it's working, or we need to continue to do because it's working, or what are some things that we've been doing that we don't need to do anymore? So, a comprehensive needs assessment components. It states that a summary, where are we now? So I need you all to take your glasses out or your magnifying glasses and look at where we are now, what data and processes were considered. So we will have for you a MOS shared drive that will have all of the data pieces there. And so we need you all to take the time to be able to review those data points there. You'll be able to have it in more than enough time so that you can look at it, chew it, process it, and then pose your questions on the side. Also look at, again, what is working and then what is not working. What are some of our needs that we need to address? So the CNA summary. So the CNA captures patterns and trends in the data. It synthesizes findings to tell the reader what data are important and why, and then state testing scores or survey questions without explanations do not create meaning. So again, just looking at state scores does not define MOS, and just looking at survey questions does not define MOS, or looking at our attendance data. That doesn't just define MOS. We have to be able to have a clear picture of who we are and what we need to do. So in the process of creating a CNA, a campus needs assessment, we have to look at the problem. So having a clearly defined problem that arises out of the data analysis. So after we've taken time to individually look at our data, then collectively come together and have conversations about the data. What do we see? And then talk about the unfavorable condition that prevents the goal or objective from being achieved. So if we're looking at our star writing data, and our star writing data over courses of time says that we're not being productive, then what is it that we need to do? Being honest about that. Being factual, not opinions, but facts. What is it that we need to be able to look at this data and saying it's a problem? The problem statement answers who does it involve, what program, grade level, or subject does it involve, where is it occurring, and when is it occurring. So when we look at the problem statement after we've analyzed our data, We're looking into those key major factors there. So with our problem statement, it is a fact backed up by data. Again, it's not someone's opinion, and that's why it cannot just be basically on what Mrs. Staten or Mr. Mungia says. It is basically all stakeholders have a part into our CNA. And so with that, we would be able to provide you all to be able to have a clear-cut plan so that we all have that buy-in into it. So a problem statement focuses on one issue, clearly written, concise, with no jargon, based on fact, not opinion, and does not contain a cause or a solution. So we're going to look at this, and there are some questions. We're not doing a problem statement today. I do want to, this is just again an introduction to our campus needs assessment. So there are some information that you will have to retain for our next meeting. So when we look at the next problem statement, is this a good problem statement? Can we make it better? We're not going to respond in the chat, but English learners increased their performance from 16% to 26%. So with that being said, English learners increased their performance in what? And what data is this being used from? So we just don't know. So let's look at the next, how it can be revised. Fourth grade English learners increased their state reading assessment performance from 16% in 2020 to 26% in 2021. However, they are still underperforming the state standard by 14%. So, with having this problem statement, this school looked at their English language learners, looked at the state reading assessment, and then compared it to the state standard. So they even went a little bit deeper in finding out, is this an issue not only just within the school, but in the state. So here we have an example of our CNA. So you have a problem statement. Then you go and look into, from our problem statement, what is the root cause? So let's take our previous example of the English language learners. So with our English language learners, they increased the state reading assessments from one year to another. However, they're still underperforming the state standard. So what is the root cause? Why is it that they are underperforming? And if we say, well, it's because of lack of materials. Well, why is it a lack of materials? Or is it because of lack of training? Why is it a lack of training? So as we go through, when we look at our data, the key thing we need to ask, just like we ask our students, why? Why is it? So that we can dig a little deeper in really finding out what is the root cause of the problem. So again, a root cause is just the deepest underlying cause of either positive or negative symptoms, which if removed would result in an elimination or substantial reduction of the symptom. Okay, so if we were actually able to address this root cause, if we address it, then, and we have action steps to address it, we know that it could positively or even could negatively affect the campus as well. So again, we're not just trying to put a band-aid over a problem. We really want to dissolve the root instead of fixing it with a patch. And so that is really key for us to be able to transform and transform Moss into that great school that it so deserves to be and serves our community and our students and families. We cannot just keep putting band-aids over the situation. We really have to look at what are the key factors, and then how can we improve our instruction to make sure that we're getting down to the root cause of everything. So again, with the root cause, you're always going to look at the why. Why is it that that's an issue there? So the process, so you heard me say earlier, campus needs assessment and CIP. So you're going to hear me say CNA and CIP. So the CIP is always it's the campus improvement plan. So from our problem, then we go look at the root cause, and then we find strategies that will help us with our root cause, that will help eliminate it, and then have performance objectives. So how are we going to address it so that we can reach our goal? What is the ultimate factor that we want to occur from our problem. If we say there's a problem, what's the solution? So with our CNA, we're focusing on the problem and root cause, but then the CIP focuses on the exact thing that we're going to do to make the change. Got to make a change. All right, so CNA, here's an example of a problem statement. The summer 2020 staff survey results confirm that 85% of teachers request training to increase effectiveness of teaching literacy, especially online. So the root cause was, as teachers are planning online instruction and assessing students' learning, they're realizing the necessity of learning new and different types of instructional strategies. So the results, the strategy would be from this, because they're saying this was the issue. Now, why was it an issue? They're saying that they're needing support with learning the different types of instructional strategies. So now, what's the strategy? So all K through third grade teachers, the literacy coach and principal will attend the Teacher Literacy Achievement Academy and will have job embedded coaching throughout the year. So this is what we're going to do to help support the teachers learning those new types of things. So then what will be the outcome? Because of the outcome of our strategies, it will help increase grades 3 meets and above on a 2021 state reading from 39%, that's where they currently are, to 44% in the all student groups, and to 22% for special ed and 42% for ELs. So you're seeing how it started out with a problem. You found the root cause by asking those questions of why, then finding those strategies, and then having what is the ultimate goal. What is it that you're expecting from these strategies? What do you want to come out of it? So at the end of the day, we can't say we are too busy, because let's look at this picture and analyze it. Sometimes what we're doing may not be working. And so we can make it easier if we just look at what is best practices. And so sometimes when we only can do that if we analyze it and not be stuck into ourselves. So, all right. So without a strong CNA process, this is what you end up having on CIPs, which we've had some of them. I'm going to say all of them. I can tell you which one. We'll send a newsletter home to parents. Well, that's more so of a strategy. That's not necessarily on our CNA, our campus needs assessment. That's something that you're going to do. Okay, that's an action step. We'll have donuts for dads and muffins for moms. Okay, that's still an action step. We'll provide tutorials, an action step. To encourage students, attendance will be discussed using PA announcements. And that's some of these are kind of surface things. RTI screenings will be used. Teachers will attend PLC meetings. All outside doors will routinely locked by 8 o'clock. So some of this is actually just surface level things. And this is not something that we'll put on our CNA, because that's not a root cause. That's not a problem that we'll see. This, in essence, is not a problem. And more so, you're talking about some of the things that you're going to do, but is this really going to change instructional practices? Not saying that it's not necessary to send home newsletters for communication, but when we're talking about what's the root cause, what's the problem, those are not those problems here. All right, so who is involved? So you see, it's everybody. So we need as many voices to be able to look through the data, to be able to go through it, so that we can have a true, clear picture. So everyone's a stakeholder, everyone is welcome, because everyone's opinion does matter. So we're going to engage in several opportunities. So today we're going to start a conversation after I get off of this. Schools should engage in multiple ways: interviews, focus group surveys, large groups, to better understand the perspectives and root causes of identified needs. So traditionally with our campus needs assessment, we would all come together, split up into 8 groups, try to figure out in one day, submit it in, and then that's it. So having 8 is totally too many there. So the district has winded it down or narrowed it down to 4 key factors: demographics, student achievement, process and programs, and perceptions. And so with that, you'll see here, what are those things? They have divided those 8 into those 4. And so you'll see how it actually goes into effect there. So today you're going to read an article about the multiple measures of data. So you'll see how some of these data will overlap because we will need to ask questions that pertain to student learning may entwine demographics and perceptions. So I really want us to have a true picture and a true lens to invest into MOS. So again, the multiple measures. So you see, who are we? Focus on demographics. How well do we do business? Perceptions. How are our students doing? Student achievement. And how do we do business with processes and programs, which is processes and programs. So again, here, how well are we doing? Perceptions, the multiple measures of data. So the next action steps will be our CNA information meeting is today. Sign up for a subcommittee by Friday, April 2nd. You're going to review the data in Google Shared Drive. I did ask for the leadership team to have that ready for you all by Monday. So you should be able to access that Google Shared Drive. It will be shared with you so that you can review the data. On April 8th, we're going to have a CNA subcommittee meeting at 3:15. This is a Thursday because I didn't want to do it before start, and I definitely didn't want to do it on the start day. So we're going to have our CNA subcommittee meeting at 3:15. All staff will be compensated for attendance on that day. So if by chance you say you don't want to attend that meeting, that is fine. It is not mandatory. However, on the 12th, it is a mandatory meeting. So we're going to, from our subcommittees, we are going to report out some of our findings and still continue with that conversation there. The 12th is not paid because that is our regularly scheduled approved meeting. SBDM on the 14th will discuss recommendations. The 15th, the leadership team will review. The 16th, I will submit it. And then the 20th, we'll start the campus improvement process at that time. So this is our CNA improvement informational meeting. Again, transformational change begins with a strong CNA process. Really, ultimately, I have to kind of disagree with it. Transformational change begins with strong people and strong leadership and teachers who are willing to do the work for our students, who are very thoughtful and intentional about the CNA. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for being truthful and honest. Mr. Mungia and the other leadership team members are going to help facilitate today's POC. So today is a great day for us to be able to start our change and how we can continue to be a great school. So thank you. You all have a great day.